If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, back on the show is James Krause, who will take on Sergio Moraes next Saturday as the UFC returns to Sao Paulo, Brazil. The James Krause is joining us. How are you, man?
What's up? I'm good.
Good to have you back. We're a little over a week away from this fight as you look to make it 6 straight in the octagon. How are you feeling as we get closer and closer?
I feel great. I mean, really, I really do. I'm as ready as I'm going to be. You know what I mean? Like I don't. There's nothing else. There's nothing else that I could do or anything like that to make this better. Yeah, I mean, I feel really good, honestly. Like, my weight's good. The 70 cut's not bad. No, like, real injuries or anything like that. I've had a great camp. I mean, I feel good.
You were out in Boston for that event at the TD Garden, and you were cornering Sean Woodson for his fight against Kyle Bochniak. And I spoke to Sean before and after the fight, and he opened up a lot of eyes in that fight and that performance against Kyle Bochniak. A lot of people believe he's going to be a huge problem at 145. How impressed are you with Sean's performance last month?
Oh man, Sean he is a complete monster. And the thing that makes him tough is he's like 6'3", 6'4" at featherweight. And I know what like Bochniak saw, and I know it, like, when you're watching him, it doesn't seem he's one of those guys that you got to feel. You can watch all the video you want, but that's not going to do it any justice. You got to feel him. And man, his range is incredible. He is like, he hits you from across the damn room, and he's got a thing. He doesn't have a ton of power, but his timing is incredible. And to be honest, his hand speed's not very fast either. But the way he times his punches, man, it hits you like a machine gun. And he does a really good job just filling gaps. So like, there's no opportunities to crack back or shoot or whatever. And he's got great takedown defense, as he showed also. I mean, he is a problem for any striker or anybody, really, just because his range is so – it's almost like a cheat code. It's so long.
He told me after the fight was booked that he made the trip one weekend to Glory MMA, your gym, to get some work in. And after that weekend, he just kept making it a weekly occurrence to travel from St. Louis to Lee Summit. He got a great first impression from you, obviously. When he walked in and started working with you and your team, did you see something in him, like, right away?
Oh, yeah, he has everything that I look for. I mean, I've been coaching for a long time, way before I should have been coaching, and I see talent come and go. Like, talent is not what I look for. I mean, it's a bonus, don't get me wrong. But talent, I've seen so many people piss away talent, it's not even funny. So what I look for is I look for discipline, I look for focus, hard work, and then obviously skill, and then talent is a bonus. So, like, Sean has the talent, but one thing that he has over the majority of these other guys is his discipline. He's always on a diet. He's always ready to make weight on short notice. He's always training. He's always in shape, and he controls the things that he can control. And especially in a young kid, he's got a very mature mindset for his age, and he's a mental monster too. He's hard. He's not. You're gonna have a hard time breaking that kid.
I saw that while you were in Boston, you went to Boston Children's Hospital. You had a great post on Instagram about it. Can I ask how that came to be, and what did you take away from that experience?
Well, the way it came to be is I was just a guest fighter for the UFC, and they just set that up. I'm so grateful for it. That was honestly is one of the coolest things that I've ever had the experience to do. The Boston Children's Hospital is, from what they told me, the top pediatrics hospital in the country. And it just shows I'm really big on culture and organization and stuff like that. And when you walk into that place, it is massive, and you can get lost in 5 minutes there. And that's not an exaggeration. It's so big. But one thing that you can feel the atmosphere and the culture, like right when you walk in, and it punches you right in the face of just like loving, caring people that really are excited to be there and to help. So they did some incredible things, like the studio. They have Ryan Seacrest has put a studio in there. It's one of the nicest radio studios I've ever seen, and I've been on some major networks before on radio. And they interact with the kids on a regular basis. So if the kids are allowed to come out of their room, they can come down in studio and interact. They can also interact through the TV. There's a dedicated channel to the studio as well. They can call in and interact. And it's really, really cool to see how these people get involved with whatever that the kid is there for, helping them get through that. It was truly, I'm very, very fortunate to be able to do that. And I mean that, like, I've been all over the world, seen a lot of different things, but that was one of the coolest things I've ever done.
That's amazing. Boston Children's Hospital is unbelievable. Obviously, growing up in the Boston area, been there a couple times, and it's just unbelievable. I'm glad you got to experience that. But
yeah,
in terms of what you're about to experience, you're about to get back in there and fight in a week, and this is going to be your first fight in well over a year. I'm sure it's been discussed to death at this point, but it's not like you've been sitting on the couch eating bonbons. You've obviously been training and coaching fighters. Like, you've been around the sport during the in-competition layoff, so to speak. Like, the first reactions fans would have when looking at this is like, well, he hasn't fought in a year plus, could be some rust. But for someone who's been doing this for as long as you have, well over a decade, 33 pro fights, probably double that in total, you don't need to necessarily fight 3 or 4 times a year at this point, do you?
Bro, I've been doing this for 13 years. I have over 60 fights, pro and amateur. I know how to fight. You know what I mean? I know how to fight by mouth. And a year off honestly, I didn't even really realize it was that long until you mentioned it. Like, I train every day, twice a day. It is no different to me whether I fight one day in between fights or 2 years. I know how to fight. I've been fighting for a long time. And if people say the year off is going to affect anything, just check my fights before. Like, layoffs do not make a big difference to me. I don't believe in ring rust. My style of fighting is I get after people early, and I put a lot of volume out. I have one of the highest significant strikes landed per minute in the division. I mean, it's never been a factor before. I don't know why 13 years later it would start being one now.
Yeah, I see that coming up a lot, and I'm like, this guy's been around forever. Like, he knows how, you say I know how to fight at this point, but you fight Sergio Moraes. He's been on a little bit of a skid. He's lost his last 2, but he's very tough. He's been in there with some really good competition, great jiu-jitsu practitioner. Do you like this matchup stylistically? Is this the kind of fight that gets you excited at this point in your career?
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously, the one thing that comes to mind is the UFC. I feel like the general public and the UFC considers me a striker, which, because of that, they like to match me up with other strikers. So this will be the first time, and I do feel like Sergio's been striking in his last couple fights, and he's lost those fights. So I do think that he's going to shoot on me this fight. So that I feel like, you know, I cannot let him on top of me, right? Like, there could be some real problems if he gets on top of me. So there's a little X factor there for me that I have something new that I have to watch out for, because I really haven't fought many grapplers other than you know, in the tough house or whatever. But yeah, I mean, absolutely, I get excited about it. There's kind of a little factor that's like, oh man, I got to watch out for something new now, and it's nothing new, but you know, under the lights, it is.
You spent a lot of time in Colorado at Factory X getting ready for this fight with Mark Montoya in that room of just absolute killers over there. How long have you been doing camps there, and what about it keeps you going back?
I've been doing camps there since this win streak. I haven't lost since I joined that gym. The leadership from Mark is incredible. I mean, like, obviously the team is great. They have a ton of talent there, but that's not why I go there. I go there because the leadership with Mark is look, man, like, I'm a coach as well, but I'm a very good infantry too. So I like to be coached. I enjoy it. And Mark is an incredible coach and leader, and he's somebody that you want to go to battle for. You know, you want to seek his approval, and you want to do your best. And that's one thing that Mark is incredible at, is bringing the absolute best out of each individual. And for me, I mean, the numbers don't lie. I haven't lost since I've been there. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, I have not lost when Mark is in my corner in almost going on 5 years. So the proof is in the pudding. For me, it's a good fit.
When do you guys head out there?
Monday.
Is this your first time fighting in Brazil? I was going back and I looked real quickly, but I don't remember you ever fighting in Brazil before.
No, that's by design. Typically, when you fight out of the country, you got to pay 15 to 30% more in taxes, and we don't get a raise whenever we do that. So I'm not about that life. Brazil recently just lifted their tax laws, though, so I won't get hit with that. That's the only reason I'm going.
Well, there you go. And it does get a little crazy over there. I'm sure you're not, going to get rattled by the constant wishes for your demise at this point in your career, right?
Look, man, they won't be the first people to wish death upon me.
Who else is who would wish death upon you at this point? Come on.
I don't know. I give a shit so less that I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure somebody does, but I'm not worried about it. Man, at the end of the day, whether the fight's in the States, whether the fight's in Brazil, those people can't help him. These people can't help me. We're locked in there, and we're going to fight. Like, I promise you, those people aren't going to make a difference. The only difference that could possibly matter would be the judges, and it's my job to not let them be a factor.
How do you see this all playing out next weekend against Sergio Moraes? And, hopefully at the end when you get your hand raised, you turn those people into your corner. That still would be a good feeling, right?
Yeah, I don't care if they're in my corner or not, but I see myself winning, obviously. I think that he is going to – I think he'll come out and maybe strike for a minute. I think at some point he's going to take a shot. And I think if I stop one or two of those shots, I think he's going to quit shooting. I think I'm going to move too much for him. I think my feet are I move too much. My footwork's too good for him. I think he's going to be lost trying to find me. I see myself finishing this fight with like a knee or a high kick or something like that.
I know in recent interviews that I've read, you've said that you prefer coaching over fighting. And, talking to Sean, he said that you've told him that you don't just prefer it, but you feel like you are a better coach than a fighter. Is that accurate? Do you believe that you're a better coach than a fighter?
I do believe that, yes. Yeah, I mean, if you read all the success books, they say if you want to accomplish everything in your life, you must first help somebody else accomplish theirs. So, I've been doing this for a long time, man. If you watch like my first UFC win, I'm smiling, I'm ecstatic, and then now I don't really smile anymore just because I expect it. I expect to win, and it's not that I'm not happy. It's what I expect for myself, but I can't help but smile whenever you're a small part of somebody else's success. The fulfillment level is just way more for me. And the fact that I don't need to fight too helps. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to fight to pay my bills. So win, lose, or draw, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be fine after that fight's over. But just seeing the fulfillment and people accomplishing their dreams and even being just a tiny part of that success of theirs is huge for me.
With that being said, do you have, and I hate asking this question, but do you have sort of an end game on the fighting aspect of things? If you put a sort of timetable on at this point because you're enjoying the coaching aspect so much?
Yeah, I've not put a timetable on it. I think it's more of a feeling I think when you get tired of that daily grind, you know what I mean? Like whenever the grind overtakes you and whenever you start questioning whether or not you want to go to the gym in the morning or not, I think that's when you need to start thinking about what's next. And I'm not going to say when I'm going to be done. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure. I can't put a timetable on it, especially being 1 week out from a fight. So I would venture to say that I will probably be a full-time coach within the next year or two, just a guess. I don't know that to be sure. But it's not really on my concern list at the moment. I have a tough opponent in a week, and right now I'm a fighter, and right now I'm a full-time fighter, so I plan on busting that ass next Saturday.
Fair enough. And personally, and I don't know how much you stock you put into this kind of stuff, and I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to you. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I've said this before as well. I think you're definitely one of the more underrated and underappreciated fighters and coaches in the sport right now. Do you feel that way too? And if so, like, who's undervalued more, the James Krause the fighter or the James Krause the coach?
Oh, for sure. From a coaching, I don't know, man. Like, I have a lot of the guys come up to me. Even the coaches, the good coaches, are starting to recognize me, I think. I don't know which one. Do I feel like I'm undervalued? Yes. Maybe more so as a fighter right now just because I don't fight that much. Like, my volume is not that high. But I'm on the road every weekend, and the guys see me on TV, and, it's not the UFC every weekend, but I'm on the road almost every weekend, and they see me traveling, they see me on the road. So a lot of the big coaches are starting to recognize that, and that's really cool for me. It means more to me when the coaches recognize me than people recognize me for fighting. So, yeah, I don't know the answer to that. Probably right now, I would venture to say that I'm probably more underrated as a fighter just because I don't fight that often. So, that would be my answer with that. But it's, yeah, I mean, it's so, what have you done for me lately? You know what I mean? Like, next week, if I go knock out Sergio, I'll be the next biggest thing. And then 2 months later, I'll fall. It's just how it is. You know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, unless you're fighting every 3 months, it's just how the game is.
Look at Jorge Masvidal right now. Like a year ago, he was
Yeah.
nothing. Not saying he's nothing, but now look at him. Jeez.
No, I get it, man. Like I told him that. So he deserves that. He's been grinding at this sport for a long time, and he deserves every bit of attention that he's getting now. I'm super happy for him.
Couldn't agree more. And a couple more things before I let you go. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up a former student and teammate of yours in William Joplin, a longtime veteran of the sport, extremely active fighter, a fun guy to watch. And from everything I read, he was a coach's dream. And he recently lost his battle with pancreatic cancer. And the MMA community collectively, everyone came together to pay their respects to him. What did William mean to you as a coach, as a teammate, and more importantly, as a friend?
Well, Joplin he's probably my longest reigning student. I've been coaching him for probably 12 years, maybe longer. And he was just a dog, man. That dude he was a coach's dream in the sense he wasn't very skilled. Like I don't want to act like he's some talented dude that was going to win a world title because that's not the truth. But what he lacked in talent, he made up for in balls and heart. Like a dude, he beat a lot of people that were better than him because he was in shape. He was always in shape. He had a hell of a takedown on the fence, and the kid could grind, man. The dude could just grind you to death. And he's one of the most durable human beings that I've ever personally trained with and met. Man, he definitely has a big place in my heart just because I've known him for so long. I've coached him the majority of his pro career. We're talking probably, and I've known him even his whole amateur career, you know. So I've known that dude. He's probably got 70 fights total. I've known him since he started, and yeah, man, I'm gonna miss him.
D. James Krause, and thank you for sharing that with us. Returns to action next weekend at UFC Sao Paulo, taking on Sergio Moraes. Great seeing you in Boston, James, and great catching up with you here. Before we let you go, let the folks know where to find and follow you on the web. Anything else you want to get off your chest, man? The floor is yours.
I'm always on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that. I'm most active on Instagram. D. James Krause is my name on all of them. Give me a follow. If not, don't.
Oh, yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention, and congratulations to you. You recently had a son?
Yeah.
That's amazing,
Yeah,
man.
he's about 5 weeks old.
Between the training and the coaching and the new baby, are you sleeping at all?
No, not at all. No, that's not true. My wife is a savage when it comes to taking care of the kids, man. She is world class at that. That's something she loves to do. And I feel like I was put on this planet to be an entrepreneur and fighter and a coach and all this other stuff. I feel like she was put on this planet to be a great mother. So she kills that department and makes sure that I'm always ready. I'm getting sleep and all that stuff.
How many is this for you?
That's my second kid, and we're done.
Oh, okay. First boy?
First boy, yep.
There you go.
One and done on the boys.
There you go. Well, congratulations. I got a son myself. It's a phenomenal feeling, I'm sure, as a dad. Now you get some, I think you said on Instagram, some testosterone, some extra testosterone flowing in the house.
I got to get some tea in the house, man. I got to get some tea in the house.
Man. Well, congratulations on that. All the best to you next weekend, and thanks for the time, James, as always.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.